welcome to Trashy, where we take a dumpster dive on this week's garbage people and look at all the trashiest news stories. My name is Erika, and I am your host.
My name is Cassandra, and I'm your other host. Now, what were you saying?
A lot of people had some feedback about the founding confusion that we had last week. I've gotten more notes, text, calls about.
I feel like knowing that, I'm like, why don't I know more about it? But then I remember what it is, and I'm like, no, I'm cool. Like,
you don't have one of the key components that that it would take to do it, I would say, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Neither
I think like
a urethra, a penis, nor a stick. There's not a stick to be found at your home, so.
No. You know what's crazy? And I imagine it's still this way, but I don't know. I hope not for the future of America. But like, you know, we were in the generation, like high school time, the internet still, like the dawn of the viral video was probably around the time that I was in high school. And E-Bombs World was you know, these are options. Like YouTube was in its infancy.
But we had shoes.
Yeah, we had shoes. Oh yeah, like the viral video shoes. I thought you were just talking about like we did have shoes back then, as if to like reference that it was a very long time ago. But yeah, like those types of sites contained a myriad of like end of the world, like funny, like viral sketches, but then also like, here's a video of a man taking a hammer to his balls, you know? So it's kind of like, I think maybe that is where like people were founding.
It's been around since the ancient times. They find,
well, of course, but you don't know about this shit until the internet.
You gotta have a guy that knows a guy that tells you in the back of a bookstore.
National Geographic, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, speaking of, you know, I was showing kids nudies and diagrams in the encyclopedia. National Geographic. What a porno onslaught, but it was educational. You know, it's like, oh, look at this guy in wherever he is in his native garb, and people were like, well, fourth graders were like, well, I can jerk off to that. I definitely saw a lot of my classmates be like, education time. And you're like, no, that's what they would call it. They would call it education time.
Gross.
I don't know if they were even actually doing that at that age.
I doubt it. I think that they were just like,
they were putting it on.
Titties, you know?
Yeah. The Mr. Beast of his day, the guy just hitting himself with the balls with a hammer, you know, just he was the king. There was 100%. This one video, and it wasn't even on YouTube. It was like you had to go to remember websites where it was just a website that wasn't a social media site?
You weren't being like an asshole if you said, okay, so go to www.
Yeah. Somebody started to tell me a website name where I wasn't buying something or filling out a government form. I'd be like, don't be an asshole. Right now.
http://www.
But there was this one video, and it was, again, you had to go to a website. It wasn't even on YouTube. Even YouTube at the time was like, no, not for us. And it was called Shake That Bear. And if memory's serving me correct, I don't know if it was a phenomena. It just was in our tiny college circle. And it was two people humping in the woods, getting it on. And there was like a dead bear somewhere, or they were over this. It was called Shake That Bear. And it was like, I was John the Apostle. It was my job to write letters to people to let them know. I was sending out parcels. I was making sure, because somebody had to tell me, and then I had to tell the world. So that was like our, we're going to tell people and watch their faces when we make them watch Shake That Bear. I don't know what corner of the internet this is on now, if you can even see this image. But it was my job to spread it. I was the viral video dealer of the day.
There had to be one, you know, otherwise Two Girls, One Cup would have never made it where it was, you know?
I've never seen Two Girls, One Cup.
I'm going to go ahead and say you can skip it. It's
all on the headline.
No, and that's the problem.
It's not a
That's the
week got
problem.
that.
No, but it's definitely got too much juice.
Right.
No
Okay.
pun intended.
Yeah.
I was hosting a viewing party, I guess, of Two Girls, One Cup. It wasn't what the party was intended to be, but it did end up on the television.
Of course.
And I had a neighbor scream telling us to shut the fuck up because there was like 4 of us in my like little Studio City apartment and like screaming,
Of course.
reacting appropriately to what we were seeing. And neighbor, but it was like the middle of the night because we drank a lot, and he was like, "Shut the fuck up!" And I was like, "Damn, he's right. Like we are screaming about." Anyways, I don't want to get into it.
No.
If you know, you know. If you don't, consider yourself lucky. This is just one of those things you don't need to know.
If you know, it's time for a nighttime skincare routine. We need to be moisturizing.
That's true.
We got to be wearing sunscreen indoors.
I saw it. Never mind. I can't bring this up. It doesn't. So maybe this is a Patreon exclusive.
Okay.
I saw this video. I got to know. Why are you trash?
Okay. So I'm just laughing at what we just heard for Patreon only, but
wow, savage.
I'm just still laughing about that. I just
oh, speaking of Patreon, I have some fan fictions coming. Not this episode, but I do have fan fictions coming.
Yeah,
so for the people who have been signing up for our Patreon, we
Thank
super
you.
appreciate it. I will give you the prize and satisfaction that I promised. You just have to understand I've got some things going on that's making me a little bit slower to get to things.
Yeah.
But if you just trust me, I promise that there will be a really weird story about you coming very soon. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Why are you trash?
Yeah. And to the listeners, don't be afraid of your fan fiction, as I've been told. As a fear of someone signing up for the Patreon, they said, I'm scared of my fan fiction. And I said, it's fake. And they were like, I'm still scared. And I was like, okay. So we're talking about youth.
I was reached out to by listener and Patreon subscriber and, like friend of the show, John Sylvain.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he said, me being short is a secret. Because I mentioned that he was short in his fan fiction.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry for exposing you.
Exposed on Trashy.
I'll make them even more fake. Forget the part that he murders us both in his fan fiction.
He's like, that's accurate. That seems right.
That's what I would do if you guys ever put an episode out late again.
My bad. I was at a pool this summer and it had a lazy river. And it was fantastic. It was too warm.
Where was that again?
It was like outside of Palm Springs, so Palm Desert. It was lovely.
I'm gonna get that name. Not now, but
yeah. Thank you,
Sounds
Amex.
Nice.
Amex Platinum Travel Rewards points and
oh my god, please sponsor us, Amex Platinum. That would be such a sick. I would venture to put that ad even on the Patreon just to show off.
And I'm gonna put all my referral links because I hear people are signing up because I talk about it and they're like, "Oh, I forgot to use your referral code," and then I just see red. And there's like a nuclear explosion that goes off inside of my head. But that's a whole other conversation. But
hey, if Amex Platinum's yearly fee is too high for you and you decide to go to Chase Sapphire or Venture X, you hit up old Sea Dog. I'll give you a referral code. I got both. All right, keep going.
The Amex Platinum is not that much. And especially if you call them on the renewal, they'll waive it. Like it's not that much. But you get more than what. Anyway, we're not biting in credit cards.
Not everyone fucking shops at Saks. Anyways, go.
Okay, but you get credit anyway. All right.
I don't know what am I going to buy with credit to Saks Fifth Avenue? I'm going to walk in there. They're going to kick me out, pretty woman me out of there. Just ask me to use the back entrance. They're going to be like, online. Are you someone's assistant? This isn't where you're supposed to enter.
You shop online and you go to Rakuten first, then go to Saks so that you're double stacking points. Guys, the points game, we have to take advantage while we can because America is not going to regulate this for a while because they don't care about consumers. So
Chase Sapphire has the best redemption for Hyatt, and Hyatt has the best redemption points. Look, this is not that kind of show, Erika. This is not that kind of show. We have to stop.
We have
referral
links in the comments. Okay. So I'm at this glorious spa day pool resort, right? Lazy rivers. And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to go to a lazy river with my adult partner, my adult brother and sister-in-law. I'm like stoked about these things. And yet the boozy lazy river has a shit ton of kids running around. And I'm like, cool. What are you guys doing here? What are you guys doing? And I'm like, okay, all right, there's kids. They're in the rafts, they're out of the rafts, they're just bumping into you. You're also afraid you're just gonna hit a kid that's not in a raft in the lazy river because he's not looking both ways in the stream. And
No.
I'm like, this is chaos. This is not the what I'm paying for,
Sure.
And so I'm like kind of getting annoyed at the children, and I love children. I think they should be in public, all these things. I'm not an anti-kid person. But I see the best thing I've ever seen a kid do, which is there's about like a 4 or 5-year-old, and then there's an older brother, maybe like 9 or 10.
Uh-huh.
And 9 or 10-year-old, I guess, isn't riding the family line. He's not doing what he's supposed to do.
Sure.
So the 4 or 5-year-old who has floaties on his arms, which is there a cuter kid than a kid with floaties on land?
No.
You're like, that's adorable. What are you gonna do?
Only thing that makes them cuter is if they have a hooded towel on it that has a shark fin on top. That is the only. Yeah,
literally.
Yeah.
That's the triumph.
Yeah.
Of cuteness. Yeah. So this little 5-year-old, again, older brother somehow not riding the line. Like he's acting out of whatever the family rules are. Older brother's doing it. Younger brother starts running because he's got to stop. He's got to get little brother in line. He's printified 5-year-old. So he's like, somebody's got to enforce these rules and it's got to be me. Sorry to do it. Breaking my crayons. Got to do the rule following. He starts running. And you know the way sound, like an ambulance as it goes, but the way the sound travels and you can't hear here, but it comes this way. This little kid starts sprinting at his older brother, floaties on, and he goes, dipshit motherfucker. But again, like yelling at his older brother, but again, because he's running past us. We're moving in the lazy river. He's running. So he's like an ambulance, we're hearing it get louder and then fading away. But we know the volume's not dropping. We're just moving away from it.
It's so funny.
A sprinting 5-year-old going, dipshit motherfucker. And I'm like, I had to go underwater. I was laughing so hard. I was like, no, I cannot have somebody catch me acknowledging I heard this little kid cussing. It was the cutest, trashiest little thing. And of course, he's the good brother, in his head, he's the rule enforcer. And I love, it's trauma and it's tragic. I love parentified kids. And it was just really cute that he was like, I got to get older brother in line today. And it was very trashy and very cute. So that's why I'm trash, is I enjoyed that so much.
I'll say that because, a lazy river is exciting for a kid. You can't deny that. I would almost venture to say that without children present at a lazy river, things might get weird, like an adults only lazy river. It seems like too much of the Wild West where like I'd almost rather have kids around screaming dipshit motherfucker than having someone just way too drunk in a lazy river. You know what I'm saying? Like a drunk adult is worse than an unattended child. Like a super, super drunk adult.
Oh yeah.
Because they're very equivalent, but except that the super, super drunk adult should know better. An unattended child is kind of like, where are your parents? But like a super drunk adult, it's kind of like, where are your fucking friends? Yeah. And I'm mad at all of you, So like,
I love it.
Your parents for the night.
Yeah. Yeah. Your friends are your parents for the night. In a weird, sometimes. Yeah. Yeah.
But you are their parents. So, everyone should just.
When I finally broke, and listen, I'm going to obviously take care of someone, but when I finally broke I am everyone's parent, we're going to the bar, we're making sure everyone's coming home. When I finally was just like, everyone's going to make their own choices. It's not on me to make sure friend A doesn't make out with the DJ. Like when I released myself of that and was like, they'll make their choices. I'm obviously not going to let someone get hurt, but she'll figure it out. He'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. how much more fun I had.
It's so much better when you let that go, especially when you're like, because there's certain people in this world where like you just know like their nights end up different than yours always.
Yes.
And it's like the less time you worry about them and just trust of like, okay, well, I've lost them, but like, you know, like I don't need to go look for them. And look, God forbid it ends up bad. But like there are just some people who it's like, I know that person will get home because they always do. They just are also the type of person that like makes friends with new people and goes to a second location with those new people. Like just different choices,
Different choices. Second locations with strangers?
Never. But some people do it. What can you do?
I'm sure I've told the story about second and third location. We have to get into why Cass's trash, but this is a Patreon exclusive. You know, now we're all forced friends because of the one day intimacy. Absolutely not. So, what an insane day that was. All right, we're back. Cass, why are you trash?
So I started watching a Netflix documentary called Big Vape. And here's the thing. Netflix, a fun documentary series, but like you need to, or like in general, I'm talking about in general, here's how their documentaries go. It could be boiled down to less episodes, perhaps just a movie, but instead they love to like make it episodic and make you watch a bunch more, blah, blah, blah. And they stretch it out too long. Here's the problem. They're really dangling the carrot about... So it's about Big Vape. It's about Juul specifically, Juul, whatever, like the little Juul vapes. And they haven't gotten to the part about like people getting super sick from them, you know? They have definitely covered that like it made teenagers really addicted to nicotine. Because they were like smoking. It was pretty crazy. Actually, I didn't realize how much like teenagers were like smoking in class, like Gen Z. Not your modern teenager, like your Gen Z. Sorry, Gen Z, you're not fucking teenager anymore. But like I knew that Juuls existed, but my reference to who smoked Juuls, I thought was always just kind of like douchey people. I didn't realize that it was like, you know, wow, this is like really like kids are smoking these. So fine. Here's the problem. The way that Juul is pitched, like when they were creating it, and like they have people from both sides of the argument, like people who still currently work at Juul even being like, their point was to maintain the ritual of smoking, like, you know, the break, all that kind of stuff, like the good things about smoking, but eliminate the cancer. So it's still nicotine and it's still addictive, but it's not going to give you lung cancer because you're not burning, whatever.
Right.
So here's the thing. I'm watching this. And again, they haven't gotten to, other than the super, super addictive part, because they're like, oh, like when you smoke a cigarette, you get to the end of the cigarette, you go back inside, you're done. A Juul goes through its pods, and each pod contains about as much nicotine as an entire pack of cigarettes. So like you shouldn't be smoking a pod a day, but considering that nothing is indicating for you to stop, people are basically like chain smoking a pack a day if they go through a pod a day. So it's like, this is gnarly stuff. But like, again, you don't get lung cancer. I don't know what happens to you other than getting addicted. And so I just had like, and this is why I'm trash, I had the thought of like, I could have really used this. Like, I almost feel like, again, I don't know what, this is why Netflix needs to like put all of their shit into one thing, because I'm only like 3 episodes in and I'm like,
what's the downfall?
Basically, I was like, man, like I was, you know, like smoking cigarettes like here. I never like was like a big smoker, big smoker, but like I smoked cigarettes when I was waiting tables. Everybody did. Like it was the only way you got a break. And like when you're drinking and stuff, you know, you literally did not get a break unless you were a cigarette smoker.
Us keeping a cig in Barcelona after like how many bottles of wine was one of my favorite memories.
That was, I think, the last cigarette I've ever smoked was you and me in Barcelona, because the pandemic was like 2 months later. And I remember the pandemic being so stressful that I was like, if COVID was not a lung thing and COVID was like, oh, your legs fall off, I'm pretty sure I would have picked up smoking again because I was like so stressed. But I was like, ugh, why does this have to affect lungs? But now I'm like, well, where was Jewel? Because I could have, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm so grateful because it's like really, really addictive and really, really fucked up. But I'm also trash. And so I've had some thoughts of like, like maybe I was too quick to judge these little vapes.
No.
I'm not going to pick it up now, obviously. I mean, that would be fucking crazy. But I was just learning about this and I'm like, why didn't I know?
Yeah.
It's good I didn't know. It's good. I really thought, I was like, oh, that's just something that kids do and like douchebags do, or like people who are like my age, but like pretending to be a lot younger do. You know, I didn't think it was, you know, for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the more I learn about it, I'm like, maybe this was for me.
No.
Anyways, I'm not going to pick it up now. I'm just trashy.
No. All right. Well, that's so trashy. It's time for a break before we get into our first stories.
Okay. Baby trash cans, are you in the market to make your personal care routine a little bit more eco-conscious? Because natural deodorant is a great place to start.
Cass, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about Wild, the UK's #1 natural deodorant company that's focused on performance, style, and sustainability.
With 100% vegan formula ingredients derived from plants, Wild is focused on making their deodorant safe for the humans and the planet.
Oh, so no skin-irritating complex chemical compounds?
No mama and no aluminum salts or parabens, or aluminium, since it's from the UK.
Sign me up!
Funny you should say that because Wild offers flexible subscription services, or you can purchase one at a time.
Well, that's convenient. Oh, and it looks like Wild offers new limited edition cases and scents each month.
We love variety.
Go Wild today with a special discount of 25% off your first order when you use code TRASHY at checkout.
Go to wearewild.com and use code TRASHY at checkout.
One more time for the people in the back. wearewild.com and use code TRASHY at checkout. Hey, do you want to start your own podcast?
Cass, are you breaking up with me?
No, not you. The baby trash cans.
Oh, so they should use Zencastr like we do.
It is so easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. You log on your computer, you press record, and you've got yourself on the road to making a studio quality podcast.
It's an all-in-one platform too, y'all. So you just create your podcast, then Zencastr does the rest, distributing it to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other major podcast destinations.
Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code TRASHY to get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan.
That's Zencastr, skip the last E.
We want you to have the same easy experiences that we do for all of our podcasting and content needs.
It's time to share your story.
Again, that is zencastr.com/pricing for 30% using promo code TRASHY.
Zencastr.com/pricing. Use code TRASHY at checkout. All right, and let's get into the first story. Cass, what is your vibe? What is your trend for 2024?
High fiber breakfasts.
Okay.
And gold necklaces.
Yes, very good.
My mother-in-law got me a really beautiful gold necklace.
Oh, that's beautiful. Did you write her a thank you?
Yeah, no, but I did say thank you quite a few times.
Okay.
Thank you notes for Christmas presents is too much work.
Too much work. Yeah.
People do it though, and you're putting people in a precarious position. Anyways.
The first story comes to us from theguardian.com. Tomato girls are out and leopard print is in. Gen Z says the vibe this year is mob wife.
Here, I'm going to tell you this because like I've seen this a lot, and here's what worries me. The fact that I've seen it makes me feel like it's not true.
No, it is. It's all over the place. I mean, I've been living the mob wife life. If you want to talk about big sunglasses, fur coats, big hair. baby, gold jewelry, it's never left me. Like you know what I mean? Like I've been embodying it. So I'm just glad you guys are on trend finally.
Well, that's the thing is you should just pick your own personal style and just wait, because eventually it always comes back, you know? So
100%.
Mob Wife has always been your vibe, and I think it works because now here we are. Also, Tomato Girls, I thought it was clean girl aesthetic was
Oh, clean girl. Well, Tomato Girls was like the bigger, like the schools, the full skirts, the raffia basket bags. Like it was the very like
yeah.
Jane Birkin, you know, natural girl, that coastal grandma, which again is me as well. I love a linen. I love a cream, but
Sure.
it's got a time and a place. It's winter, baby. Bada bing. It's Mob Wife time. But yeah, so it's kind of coinciding with the 25th release of The Sopranos, aired in January of 1999 from HBO. Now, Max. Makes me want to vomit just saying it now.
Yeah.
But the secondhand shopping platform Depop, which is the Gen Z Poshmark, and guess what? I am not good on Depop. I don't know how to market myself there. I am thriving on millennial basic bitch Poshmark. I am a Poshmark ambassador on Depop.
Stay in your lane, girl.
They are just not vibing with me. But the search for leopard print are up 213%. Gold hoop earrings are up 70%. As Gen Z and Gen Alpha and sad millennials are trying to scoop up the Mob Wife aesthetic. Even Francis Ford Coppola got involved. This week on Instagram, he posted a still of his sister, Talia Shire, dripping in diamonds as Connie Corleone and Diane Keaton in pearls as Kay in The Godfather, with the caption, "I hear the Mob Wife aesthetic is making a comeback." So, I mean, Victoria Gotti, fashion icon, you know? Donatella Versace. If
Father, son, house of Gucci.
If Donatella Versace would just make clothes for like fat girls in the Midwest, I would be I would be her muse. I would be her new.
You don't need to wear Versace. You know,
I want to though. Like that is a want.
But you know, when you wear these things that are clearly designer, what that's telling everybody is that you want people to think you have money, but you don't. See, my aesthetic is Kirkland, which is to say
it's good
that you don't know whether I have money or not. But like the richest people, they dress like me. Lazy.
It's true. It's true. I do hate like new money looks.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, a Louis Vuitton. Just go shoulder mount. Oh, cute. No. Oh, look, that Gucci purse. I'm like, babe, that looks like you got it from China. And that's not insulting China. That looks like it's a knockoff because you're wearing, like, your shoes give you away. Like,
it's
this
so
is your
much
one
Gucci.
piece. It's so much Gucci. And you're like, hey, this tells me, and again, I'm a poor person, but what this tells me is that you scrimped and shaved for that bag, and that's your one piece. It's new, so it's not even a vintage piece. It's giving poor person, and I'm like, damn, dude, that's like broke bitch behavior. Like, actually save up and buy something that's like an investment piece, not like a trendy statement piece right now. Even if it's designer, it just looks like this is my one thing, and you're like the poor shuffling orphan that has like a gold necklace underneath all of their clothes, and it's like, I don't know. Does that make sense? It might be. I know I'm being very classist, but I'm just saying, when I see someone,
I got some targeted ads for like a Coach bag that I was like, oh, that's cute, and then I got
always an investment piece, yeah.
But then I got so many targeted ads for it that I was like, that it made me feel like this bag is not very special, you know?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like, that being said, like everybody do whatever you want to do. But
sure, do your thing. I'm just saying the aesthetic, working in Beverly Hills now, I see so many faux rich people, and I'm like, nope. this is not giving the look you think it's giving, you know?
I will say that with this mob wife aesthetic, I am happy that like I've kept on to, or I've held on to my grandma's fur coat for a super long time, because that shit takes up so much room in my closet, valuable space. There's been a lot of times where I'm like, you know what, my grandma lives in my memories. I don't need to keep this fur coat.
I'll buy it
But like,
if you ever.
I'm not going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's real, but like,
Doesn't
but I
matter.
hold on to it because like when I do wear it, I feel powerful. But I'm in Southern California, so like the time doesn't come to wear it very often.
Right.
But like maybe I need to just start wearing it to the store. Like if this is what everyone's doing anyways, I don't know. We got to move on because we've been gabbing on this one. So our second story comes to us from people.com.
And guys, I'm mad because I think dogs are taking our jobs, okay? Build a wall between us and dogs.
Meet the chief dog officer on Royal Caribbean's new ship, a puppy named Rover. It's a golden retriever who's already everyone's favorite new crew member. Oh, God, employee of the month just because she's cute.
Oh, okay. Talk about, not earning it.
So this is a 5-month-old puppy who takes daily walks and hangs out with their handler and the captain on the ship's public maiden voyage from the Caribbean to Miami. And people love it. I mean, who would have thought? People like a puppy.
People like
how novel.
Dogs. Neat. Royal Caribbean. What do you think, you're trying to compete with Virgin?
I saw an ad for a cruise ship.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was an ad for a cruise ship until the end of it, because it was like kids playing at like a water park, and like, it looked like an ad for Disneyland, but then it was like an ad for a cruise ship, and I'm almost like, why do you put all that shit on a cruise ship? Like, I don't think I get cruises.
Yeah, I don't think you do either. It's about everything's here. Everything you could want to do is like in this thing. What are you going to do with the kids all day while you're drunk by the pool? Send them to the playground.
But like, I've done an all-inclusive resort before, and like we were like itching. It was like a really nice one too, and we were itching out of our skin by the third day to like leave and go do something else. I can't imagine having that feeling, but I'm in the middle of the ocean.
Right.
I think it's not for me.
I can just picture you being like, can I just take one of those rescue rowboats? I just need to get away for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, like, let me on one of the jet skis. I'm taking off. I gotta get out of here.
You grab the captain's flare gun and you're like holding up to your own head. like, let me get on this rowboat. And they're like, man, that's a flare gun. All that's going to let you know is that the Lusitania is nearby. Like,
what's crazy too is that like people just get like so sick and like diarrhea.
Oh yeah, they're floating cesspools. I can't wait to do one, but they're floating cesspools.
I think that I definitely want to do one in my life. Like I want to do like an adults only, like open bar, kind of just like let's get fucking crazy, like weird booze cruise. Like I think it seems like a good like 50s, vibe. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
So I'll do it someday, but for now I'm going to drop out of that idea.
Yeah, you know who else dropped out of something this week? From the MidasTouch.com, Ron DeSantis' campaign's closing message uses fake Winston Churchill quote that actually comes from a Budweiser ad.
So Ron DeSantis has dropped out of the race for president, which is great. He's a loser. But
my man,
he posted on X, formerly Twitter, a quote that he thought was Winston Churchill. The quote is, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts."
He attributed the quote to Winston Churchill. The International Churchill Society notes that Churchill never said these words and states that an almost equal number of sources found online credit saying these things to Abraham Lincoln. He didn't say it either. And guess who did say it? It was from a Budweiser ad from the 1930s. The copy of said ad reads as follows: "Men with the spirit of youth pioneered our America. Men with vision and sturdy confidence." No, they fucking weren't. They were just flying by the seat of their pants, just stealing from Indians and killing people. That's not a part of the quote. Hold on. They found continent in the thrill of action, knowing that success was never final and failure never fatal. It was courage that counted. Isn't an opportunity in America greater than it was in the days of our grateful forefathers? And then it's a young man and it says, you can't tell him there's no fishing. Which I'm like, this is a kid. This kid shouldn't be drinking Budweiser.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a photo of a kid that's going off to fish with his dog.
Very Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn coded.
Very much so. But it is an ad for beer. 1938. This is right before World War II. So certainly Winston Churchill was alive. But yeah. So this isn't like just. What'd you say?
I said, why is this weird? Because DeSantis, who has been running basically a fucking campaign against Budweiser because they gave one beer can to a transgender influencer, Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah, he really, I mean, a lot of right-wing extremists and like homophobes really went crazy with this whole Bud Light going to a transgender influencer. But like DeSantis, like straight up, like, or in July of 2023, he ordered Florida officials to open a politically motivated investigation into Anheuser-Busch for their business decision to send a beer can to a transgender person. Like, this is what the taxpayers are paying for in Florida. Is I can't even get into how many bad decisions, but also for Florida officials to waste time because it's like an investigation. What do you mean? Like asking Budweiser, hey, why'd you do that? And then that's it? Like, what are you investigating? Because they didn't do anything illegal. So there's nothing to investigate. They didn't even do anything remotely illegal, like, or that could be illegal or anything. They just, he's a fucking idiot.
Is illegal in Florida, it seems. You know what? Wait, controversial opinion. What if Ron is an inside man for the Democrats? And here's why. Ron was like, hey, I'm going to pretend to run Florida into the ground. I mean, I'm actually going to do it along the way, but I'm going to have him spinning, doing these little investigations. Meanwhile, I'm going to run Florida into such a shit show that the next time somebody runs for office that is maybe more liberal minded, people obviously throw their support behind them, and then they just undo everything I did. And the business and the government officials that are doing all this crazy shit, I'm going to have them do their little tiny like their imaginary investigations. It's like giving a kid a mystery. He just was like, who wrote the letter? And then just handed a bunch of little kids, the government officials of Florida, and distracted them. Meanwhile, he's like, look over here. Don't look at what this hand's doing. Is this anything? Am I cuckoo bananas on this one?
I think you're giving the Democrats too much credit.
They could actually be fucking competent and do something, because we know that's not true.
Yeah.
Maybe Ron's the man to change it. Maybe he's fighting 18 different layers of the battle.
All I can say is that shit is dark. It's as if we all have sunglasses on.
Oh, God. Have you ever been laid off with a very rich white woman wearing sunglasses delivers the news coldly?
I'd like to proudly say that as of this point, I've never been laid off from a job in general. Although, hey, time is young.
Life is long.
Yeah, life is long. There we go.
Well, I guess you weren't working at Pitchfork this week because longtime Vogue editor and Condé Nast head Anna Wintour kept her sunglasses on while she laid off the entire staff of Pitchfork, and just they decided to merge their music criticism site Pitchfork into GQ. And basically, she sat at a conference table on Zoom and didn't remove her sunglasses while telling everyone they were getting canned.
So in a 2009 interview with 60 Minutes, Anna Wintour explained why she wears sunglasses all the time. She said, they are seriously useful. I can sit in a show, and if I'm bored out of my mind, nobody will notice. At this point, they've really become armor. So this quote, obviously not aging well now in 2024 when she's wearing sunglasses to lay off, I think it was like 50% of the Pitchfork staff, even though like the rest who are like left behind know that their
Days are
pink
numbered.
slips are coming soon. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's a bad look. It's trashy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Unfashionable, I'll say that.
Whatever. Ugh, Erika, I just got some horrible news.
What's that?
I believe I'm getting summoned for jury duty.
Oh, right now? Today?
Yeah.
Mid-podcast? Oh, shit, this is real.
No, not, I mean, yes, I got the news mid-podcast. I don't have to go right now. I received this news.
You get up from the mic and you're like, I have the jury calls.
My civil duty is bigger than all of us. No, Taylor waved a piece of mail in front of my face as he was passing, and it is most likely a jury summons. So.
Okay, Taylor, this isn't how we podcast. Okay, that's not fucking professional. All right, keep it together, Taylor.
Yeah. Anyways.
Tall ass man, get out of here.
Hey, speaking of tall ass men, from arstechnica.com, a study finds that Bigfoot sightings correlate with black bear populations. Now, how pissed does this make you?
Oh, that black bears are running cover for Bigfoot, that they're working together, makes me very happy.
Oh, okay, good. So you're not saying, you're not like subscribing to the idea that people in the day of, as I've just mentioned with alien photos as well, about why can my iPhone take a picture of a pimple on like my ass from 10 feet away, but you guys can't get one clear picture of an alien or a Bigfoot. But you're saying, no, it's cool. They're definitely not bears. Like Sasquatch is raising bears. That's why that's happening.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's like a psychicness that comes in consciousness, and that it's like a collective memory from the past, and like there's wormholes and portals, and like when did we become aware that we're different from things, and that's like maybe that's a memory, and like there's instinct, and like there's a lot I think about Bigfoot. But let's get into this. So the data says that, and if you guys want to hear my Bigfoot podcast, that's a different tier on Patreon.
You'll sit alone.
It's just me in a room, ranting with my red pin string board.
I believe in time travelers, though. I'll say that.
Well, again, I think that goes to the psychic connections of like the past, and like what is time? It's a flat circle. Like, are we moving through it? We can't get into this.
Black bears are not always black. Sometimes they're like golden brown. Yeah. They're reddish, even though they're called black bears. And they're large animals that will frequently stand on their hind legs to get a better view of their surroundings. And they're frequenting the forested area that are supposedly where people claim to see Bigfoots. So it's likely that if you're ever in the Pacific Northwest or whatever, and you think that you've seen Bigfoot, really possible that you were just crazy close to a bear.
What do you think the first bear that stood up on his hind legs? Like, what do you think the other bears were like? Oh shit, did you see Marcus today? And they're like, what? And it's like, how we're like this? He did this. They're just raising their little paws up like little gaga monsters. They're like, we can do that?
It's like, I just never thought I had the core strength to do it, but then I just started to do it.
I just did it.
With a combination of like a healthy diet of salmon and yoga, I really was able to get there.
And then he just got all the bear pussy.
Oh yeah.
It's like, Marcus stands up.
For the rest of us, Marcus.
All modern Blackfoot are spawned from Marcus. He's the Genghis Khan of bears. Like, yes. Statistically, everyone goes back to him. Because none of the other bears could get a mate because Marcus stood on his hind legs one time.
The Genghis Khan fact is crazy that like 1 in 8 people.
Well, it's like it is a large statistic, but it is more densely populated of Asian people because
sure, of course.
But it is nuts that somebody just fucked that much.
Did you know that 1 in 16 people is related to Nick Cannon?
Yes.
And with that joke, it's time for an ad break. Erika, if I can be real, I'm worried about the planet.
Hey, Cass, it's a comedy podcast.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, well then let me just jump to what I wanted to bring up. Have you heard of Sun and Swell Foods?
You mean the nation's first online plastic-free grocery store?
Yes, that's what I mean. I want all the baby trash cans out there to have a chance to shop the assortment of delicious, healthy foods in plastic-free compostable packaging.
I read by 2050 there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. So imagine if we had access to yummy, plant-based, gluten-free, real foods without the plastic packaging.
Well, Sun and Swell is a women-owned small business based in Santa Barbara who are offering people just that. Oh, and BTW, if you don't have access to compost to ditch the packaging after you're done, they have a send-back program. They are not wasting anything, babies.
So if you're looking for a more planet-friendly pantry, shop Sun and Swell and get 20% off site-wide when you go to sunandswellfoods.com and use code TRASHY at checkout.
That's 20% off your entire order when you use TRASHY at sunandswellfoods.com.
I'm just thinking about Marcus the bear just slinging puss.
If you're hearing this, you missed a story about a kid taping fish to things. But sorry, subscribe to the Patreon. We love you though, and we'll get into our next story.
And you could subscribe to the Patreon with all the money you save by utilizing Applebee's $200 weekly date night pass.
Yeah, from WFLA.com, Applebee's is offering a weekly date night pass for $200 that includes up to $30 in food per week for a year. So the value of this is up to $1,500.
Yeah, the pass can only be used once per 24-hour period. It gives you up to $30 discount on food and non-alcoholic drinks 52 times between February 1st, 2024 and January 31st, 2025.
Here's what's crazy. I see Applebee's commercials and I'm like, what is their food made of? Because they are charging so much less than anybody else for what they are offering. At least when it comes to like appetizers. But it's like you can get bottomless wings for $8.99 at Applebee's.
Dollaritas.
And it's like, I'm just like, you're eating frozen food. You know it. Like, don't fucking kid yourself. Yeah. Nothing you eat at Applebee's was made that day.
No.
But also, like, what's up even with the frozen food at this point, you know?
Where's
they're like $200. Yeah, $200 because you might. It only includes food. It doesn't, and non-alcoholic beverages. It doesn't include alcohol. This like date night pass. So like maybe they're thinking that's where they'll make their money is the alcohol.
Oh sure,
but like
because if you're eating at Applebee's with your significant other, I'm gonna have to get hammered.
You're gonna have to get a margarita or like a hurricane or something like that. You know, I'm like $30 a week. Like that's like enough for the dinner. You could leave, and I don't know. It's
that mentality of, okay, I've spent this. I mean, I have $30 to spend. If you're like me and there's like that, like, oh, sunk cost fallacy, blah, blah, blah. But you're going to go, oh, $30. Well, we could order $45, $50 worth of food. And then it's like, well, if we're already here, we might as well get something to go for the kids. And then it's like, you know what I mean? Like it multiplies.
If you go more than 6 times in a year, it will pay for itself.
Honestly, it pays for itself. This is me trying to talk to Winston about any purchase. I'm like, pays for itself. He's like, it doesn't.
The closest Applebee's to us is either in Chatsworth or Alhambra.
I was going to say, I've been to the one, or I haven't been to the one in Alhambra. What am I saying? I went to the Aussie steak, the
Outback Steakhouse is. That's the one in Burbank, I think, that you're thinking of.
No, I went to the one in Alhambra.
Steakhouse. Oh.
The Outhouse Steakhouse is horrible. Let me just tell you, the food tastes like shit. Okay.
We got Outback Steakhouse. I think
did you not get my amazing joke? You didn't even acknowledge it.
Oh, Outhouse Steakhouse tastes like shit. Okay, I thought you were just
having an Erika-ism.
I thought you just like literally were like, oh, it's called Outhouse Steakhouse, and I'm just gonna keep going with that. Like, I thought you weren't hearing yourself. It's fine. Speaking of outhouses,
Let's get into it.
From people.com, an excessively farting passenger reportedly causes an American Airlines flight to turn around. Was it because it was farting, or was it because of his bad attitude? That's what I want to know.
We all breathed a sigh of relief when he was removed, said a witness to the gassy passenger as he wrote on Reddit. And in my mind, it's like Civil War documentary music, and he's writing a cursive letter home.
Yeah.
It's like, dearest Martha,
Annabelle. Yeah.
We all breathed a cursive place while there's like maps behind him, movement.
It's like burnt on the edges.
Yeah. Yes, correct. We all breathed a sigh of relief as when he was removed.
So it was an American Airlines. An American Airlines passenger was purportedly passing gas and loudly bragging about it on a flight from Phoenix to Austin. And the flight hadn't taken off yet, but they were like on their way and taxiing, and then they turned around to get him off. But it's like, again, like it's the passenger who was on the Reddit thread who wrote about this says, I was seated near the row where the situation occurred, and while we were still at the gate, they heard an audibly disgruntled and maybe hungover man, and he reportedly exclaimed, "You thought that was rude? Well, how about this smell?" And then farted, which is like hilarious. You know, like it's like no one can do comedy anymore without being nailed to a cross. Everyone's lost their sense of humor in this woke culture. But anyways, he just purposely farted and then decides to loudly and condescendingly go, yeah, everybody, let's just eat the smelliest food possible at all the same time. So he farted, and then he has the nerve to be like, and then look at this asshole who brought Jersey Mike's tuna on the plane, you know?
Yeah. I like that he tried to rally everyone. He's like, come with me, you know? It's kind of insane.
It's like, I farted. Yeah, everyone's farting on planes. But like, this person's eating egg salad. That doesn't piss you off?
That's incredible. Well, you know what would piss me off?
What?
If I came home and I discovered that not my packages had been stolen, but that my driveway had been stolen where my packages reside.
This story is crazy. This is from WLBT.com. And this woman, her entire, like, the concrete slab that was a driveway is now just a patch of dirt. Like, that's insane.
It's truly, she was getting ready for Christmas. Was this the Grinch? And then,
because Santa has nowhere to land. Oh, well, no, she just got a roof done. So yeah, Santa had nowhere to land without driveway.
And so then on Christmas morning, he brought the driveway back with a crew.
Wow.
But he made her pay for it. So it was like a scam.
Yeah.
It's like afterwards left her with an invoice. Sorry.
That's what's crazy is that, so she put her house up for sale prior to this. And then since putting her house up for sale, her son and her had noticed that like 5 different random people, like in contractor trucks, most likely with, you know, cartoons on the side of their trucks, started to come by and measure her driveway. And she contacted law enforcement, whatever, but like they didn't do anything. But her doorbell camera captured a bulldozer tearing out the concrete and hauling it away. And the real estate agent was like, I've never heard of this before, but like, you're probably a victim of a scam. And then the woman was like, yeah, probably a scam, right? But then neither of them were like, but what's the scam? That's what's crazy.
You have to buy a new driveway for someone. Somebody quoted her $10,000 to get a new one.
That's insane. Like, that to create a problem hoping that they'll call you to fix it.
I mean, that is some like dastardly kingly stuff of like, oh, hunting is illegal. Now you have to buy my mutton for 50,000 pence or whatever. Like it's medieval. It's cruel.
Oh, she's saying that like, how am I ever going to sell this house now, with no driveway? And she's under contract for another house, and that if she doesn't sell her house in 2 weeks, she'll lose out on it. But okay, maybe I'm just being salty, but she was like, no one's going to buy this. This brings the property down now, and it messes up me and my family. And so they set up a GoFundMe account trying to raise the money to pay for a replacement driveway. That's where I get kind of irked. I'm like, knock 10 grand off of the house of your house price and get a life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to ask for a GoFundMe to fix a driveway for a house that you're planning on selling, assumably at a profit.
Yeah.
Because like, that's where it kind of like irks me of like, girl, like if you weren't selling the house,
Yeah.
I'd be like, and like the dirt being the driveway was like dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, okay, like GoFundMe, like fine. But like to be like, oh God, I was going to get this much equity and now I can't, like, help me, like GoFundMe 10 grand. It's like, come on. Is that, am I being wrong?
I mean,
it yucks me out.
I mean, I get it. I get it how it's like you've probably scrimped and scraped and like this is like the thing, but it just sucks that it happened. But it also sucks that like the government's not doing anything about it. So then it falls on her and she's asking for community help. Sucks all around. Sucks all around.
I guess.
That's what I say. Sucks all around. Yeah. You know what doesn't suck? Ad-free episodes and extended stories on our Patreon. You can hear a little bit about it here.
Ugh, not another ad.
Sorry, Cass, but Mama's got to pay the bills.
Surely there's another way.
Oh, there is. You can subscribe to the Trashy Podcast Patreon.
That's ad-free episodes?
And longer episodes.
So much trash.
And even sometimes we release bonus behind the paywall only content.
Exclusive trash.
Sign up for memberships as low as $1.99 per month at patreon.com/trashypodcast.
So patreon.com/trashypodcast. Oh, that's fun. There's different tiers. Wait, what is this $200,000 a month?
Oh, at that level, we'll stop doing a public podcast and do a private podcast for you daily for one very rich, very cool listener. That's patreon.com/trashypodcast and sign up today. And we're back. And Cass, it's time for that time of the podcast where we just say, hey, it was all in the headline. It's too much juice or just not enough juice. And it's a little segment we like to call
We Cut That.
And we cut that.
From themirror.co.uk. Dad mistakenly buys 6-meter long dinosaur for son, and it was delivered by Crane. It was a 20-foot. Twice the size he had intended, and it was delivered by Crane. Did the price not tip you off, Dad?
That's what I'm saying, girl. I'm like, what did he think he was buying?
Yeah. What did you think was coming down the pipe?
But we had to cut it because what do we do? What are we going to do? Shame this guy for trying to make his son happy? But like, we're definitely like, making some side eye glances. From NBCnews.com. Woman arrested after police found $2,500 worth of Stanley Cups in her car.
What was that, like 3 or 4 Stanleys?
Boom.
They were the pink ones, though, for Valentine's Day.
It was all the different ones. I looked at the picture of the police. Here's why we had to cut it, because I can't. I'm sick of these Stanley Cups. But I will say, the police, sometimes there's no couth with the police department when they sit there and they pose with bags of heroin and shit like that.
Right.
So in this case, like these cops were like, they just covered their police car on the side of the road in Stanley cups and took pictures. And it's like, okay, like they're literally showing it off as if they made a drug bust. It's fucking weird.
Fucking funny. It's really funny though. I'm actually back on board with this.
Really? Okay.
They covered it like it was Pablo Escobar.
It is. It looks like it's like, okay, like this is lame. Anyways, it was in Sacramento, and too bad we cut that.
And from the HoustonChronicle.com, severed pig head thrown into crowd during Houston rock concert, and a black metal band apologizes.
Look, you got to earn the pig's head, you know? And I mean, I'd never even heard of this black metal band. We're not even going to name them. So.
Oh, how's that publicity going for you, band?
Not good. But we cut that.
Yeah. So did they.
Hey. Also, there's nothing like lamer than like a black metal band having to apologize for something.
Oh,
you know?
Triple down.
Like
double down.
Rock stars.
Quadruple down. Fucking be a rock star, you pussies.
You know, like it's so like just commit, bro. Like you did it. You know,
bite the head off of a live bat, you bitches.
Like you did it. You and people are getting upset about it. Own it. Be like, yeah, we're controversial. This is fucking black metal, Satan. You know. But instead, they're like, we didn't know that it would. They're literally in there. Like was like, we're sorry if we offended any vegans. Like that's literally in the fucking. We cut that.
Okay, I'm gonna say the bands they were on the gig, not their name, but the bands they were touring with. Okay, they were playing with Devoured Trachea, Accosted, Young Jit, and Big Pete. Those are two separate bands, but I feel like they should combine together.
They should team up, yeah.
Young Jit and Big Pete should take a fence painting racket up and down the U.S. coast. That's very Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn coded.
I'm just saying, like, do you think that Devoured Trachea would ever apologize for offending people?
Cass, they're like, all Buddhist, vegan, pacifist, okay? Devoured Trachea.
Then don't do it in the first place.
Stereotype them, okay?
I know, my bad. Look, babe.
It's just too much.
I just gotta check with you because we're running out of time. Are you ready?
I've never been more ready for anything in my fucking life.
Well, it's time for the dumpster fire of the week. Oh my God. This comes to us from theguardian.com, sent in by none other than Tina Curry.
Thank you. The Lord told us to. U.S. pastor says he stole $1 million from Christians to remodel home. The couple is charged with creating and selling their cryptocurrency known as Index Coin to the Christian community in Denver, Colorado. And you know what? What he won't do. That's my favorite thing people Christians say right now. Like, what he won't do, like the Lord. If the Lord told you to, that's the Lord's crime. That's what I'm saying. If I was this couple's lawyer, don't apologize. Spin it on Jesus. Crucify that man a second time for stealing from these people. That's what I
mean, they basically are. They're saying, so it's this pastor and his wife. They are charged with creating and selling their own cryptocurrency as INDX coin to Christians based in their hometown of Denver, allegedly telling the would-be investors that the Lord had told him that people would become rich if they invested. So he said, God told us to do this. God told me to run for president. They said, God told us to do this and you're going to be rich, whatever. But in reality, hey, like a lot of certain cryptocurrencies, it's practically worthless. And they made, I think they made like $3.2 million from over 300 people. So like people were like investing like a lot of money. And this couple alone stole, I mean, did they steal though? They took $1.3 million. And this guy, this pastor is saying like, it's true. Mm-hmm. Like he's literally admitting, he's like, yeah, we did that. But the thing that you're not getting is that we were taking God at his word. We took God at his word and sold cryptocurrency with no clear exit. because he believes that God will, quote, work a miracle in the financial sector.
Do you know the comedian Atsuko, the LA comedian?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. She's hilarious. Absolutely. Her name is Atsuko Achasuka. She's so funny. She was just on the new After or At Midnight reboot.
Uh-huh.
She's one of the most lovely people just in life and just one of the most funny comedians you've ever imagined. But she has a quote. It just came out this week and it says, "The Lord told me it was a good idea to go to art school. It's why I haven't paid my student loan debt yet. Those belong to him."
Yeah.
That's what this couple's, they're like, yo, God told us to, which they said God will work a miracle in the financial sector. They actually still believe that. That's a quote from them. But 300 people, that's so much money for per person.
It's a lot. If per person, it's a lot. And so they like spent like personal stuff, luxury purchases, jewelry, an au pair,
grand
a price.
Person.
Is that what it is? It comes down to at least 10 grand a person on average.
Yeah.
So a pricey home renovation project. They also pocketed at least $290,000 for their online only church, despite the fact that there's no physical.
The Lord ain't even got a house for them. That's why they had to build a house.
Crazy.
That better be the fucking church.
Like these people are kind of like incredible in the sense of like
to start a cult, Cass.
See, yeah, like I don't know.
So good at it.
I'm gonna say something. It's really sad that I think that out there are people who are Christian who have who are good intentioned, good people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like this is how it's being represented, is just like documentary and news article and all these kinds of things of these people who just like, if they're not pedophiles, they're pretending to be God, or they're getting the word of God to say that God told us to create a new currency, cryptocurrency, that's going to take off. And it's like, it's just pretty crazy. And like, so they're getting civil fraud charges have been filed against them. And I don't know. I mean, like, is it illegal to give bad financial advice and have people give you money willingly? I don't know.
It's fraud.
It's fraud.
I'm not a lawyer. Not a lawyer. As we know, I only specialize in pirate law.
100%.
Took the baby bar in pirate law.
Yeah.
So financial advisors, lawyers, please write in, as I will probably get a text message with my incorrect law knowledge soon. But this feels so, and the fact that they're just like, yep, we did it. At least double down and deny, or say that like it just hasn't happened yet. Isn't that the whole promise of so many things? It's like, hey, it sucks right now, but if you guys just do this for a while, it's going to be better after this, right? Isn't that the whole premise of that Christianity?
The pastor had said that the money or the amount raised was supposed to go and help widows and orphans too, but it's like,
don't involve widows and orphans in this bitch.
Well, yeah, but also like, isn't the whole point of cryptocurrency to like spend it? So it's like, well, don't give it to the widows and orphans either. Like,
well, it's to be decentralized. The whole point of cryptocurrency is that there's no central bank or governor or regulator over it. They want the federal governments, the world governments out of making. Like, they want it deregulated. They want it in the hands of the people. And not that the government's doing a good job. Don't catch me saying that. But when it gets out of there, at least there's like fail safes. With crypto, there's no fail safe in a way.
I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is pretty wackadoodle. So, hopefully they're punished for taking advantage of these people. Mm. I don't like cryptocurrency. I don't like it one bit. I do not like it with a box. I do not like it with a box. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever. But tell me something you do like. What are you hoarding?
I'm hoarding. It just wrapped. I'm hoarding the latest season of Fargo.
Oh yeah, it's been nominated for a lot of stuff. I have heard mixed reviews about it. I haven't watched it. Jon Hamm,
Juno Temple,
very fun.
Lamorne. It's so good. Jennifer Jason Leigh, the hot guy from Stranger Things, Steve.
Uh-huh.
It's so good. Here's what's known is that it is Jon Hamm is a MAGA sheriff of his county and kind of runs it his own way, cult leader-esque. Juno Tempo's a housewife. It's so good. It's so good. I cannot stress. Dave Foley's in it. He plays a one-eyed lawyer. I fucking love Fargo. And this season.
Let me confirm something. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just love Fargo. I love Fargo. This season was fantastic, I say.
Fargo, each season is kind of standalone. So like
very standalone. You can jump in. You don't need to know anything. You can just start.
That's good to know.
Anthology.
I've only seen the first season, so that's why I'm like, I don't have 4 seasons of television in me to then catch up to where we are. So if I can just start,
you don't need it. You just jump in, and Juno Tempo's doing her goddamn best with that Minnesotan accent, and gosh darn it, it's just it's so good. That North Dakota got you in there.
She's cute.
She's so
from
cute.
Ted Lasso fame.
She's so good. And The Dark Knight. I just love her.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
happy.
in a lot of stuff.
No, it's an anthology season. It's on FX, which is now airing on Hulu. I just think it's really great. And like, here's the thing. Jon Hamm's character is a goddamn bastard. Like the worst person. But Jon Hamm plays it to where you're like, I almost like this. You can't. He's literally horrible.
I mean, look at Don Draper. You know, Don Draper in a vacuum.
Yes.
Like, that guy is fucking horrible. But hey, that's why you get the good guy.
That's why you get Johnny. That's why you get Johnny Pig Butt in there, and he knows what to do with it.
Yep, for sure.
So yeah, what are you hoarding?
Soup cubes. It's like, imagine an ice cube tray.
Yeah. With soup. Winston does that with stock.
Yeah, I got some for Christmas for myself from Santa Claus. And it's like, they're made out of silicone. The ones I got, it's like 4 servings or whatever. But we made chili, there is no chili for 1, chili for 2 recipe in existence.
No.
Like, chili for 10.
Chili to feed an army.
Yeah.
And you gonna be eating chili for 5 days.
Yeah. And so like sometimes you just like don't want chili for 5 days. So we put the rest of the chili in the soup cubes, and it's been great because you just like, when you want a hit of that chili, take it out of the freezer, and like the soup cubes are like portioned. So like 1 or 2, depending on how hungry you are, is enough. So it's nice. It's like pre-portioned way to keep your winter chilies and stews and, you know, stocks, whatever. I'm a big fan. Treat yourself to some soup cubes. Stop wasting food. You know what I'm saying?
And hey, you know, you don't have to buy something new if you're like not trying to buy new things. Like, you can use an ice cube tray.
It's true.
Just make 6 of them, you know? But yeah.
It's a little, I mean, I feel like an ice cube tray wouldn't quite work for like, it works for like stock. I don't think it would work for like chili.
Okay.
or I mean, can you imagine pouring chili into a real life ice cube tray?
We've done it.
It's not deep enough.
Well, that's why you have a whole tray of soup. Anyway,
of chili.
Hey,
I'm hoarding. You know what? I'm hoarding soup cubes, not ice cubes. I like what you're saying. I know what you're saying about people don't have to buy new things.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling anybody to buy any. We're not sponsored by soup cubes. I'm just saying.
God, but if
I
you
like
soup cubes, get out. Say that 5 times. Get at us.
What are you throwing out?
I am throwing away. If you have a communal laundry room, putting someone's clothes on if it's been hours, I get it. If the dryer's still going and I come down and someone has moved my clothes, I get it if you've left them for 6 hours, an hour over your time. But I saw time on the dryer and you put your stuff in? 'Tis war, sir. I'm about to throw a dry crayon into the dryer.
Wait, so they took your stuff out before the dryer was even done? Is that what you're suggesting?
Let me just say, I'm not trying to assume malice on what could have been incompetence. But yeah, somebody took my dry clothes, drying, current tense, drying clothes. There was still time on the dryer and put their clothes in.
But you don't know that.
I do.
I have
an app that tells me how much. No, I have an app that tells me how much. My stuff was wet. I still had time.
Man, time to move.
I mean, or throw a crayon in the dryer and be like, try that shit again. I would never. But did just come to me.
That is a dick move. Yeah.
Dick move. It's a dick move.
You should have opened up their dryer.
I would just open it.
Put your stuff back in.
No, I would just open it so that they're just sitting there with wet clothes. But you know what? I'm not an asshole. So I'm not going to saboteur someone's laundry.
Sure.
Anyway, what are you throwing away?
I'm throwing out my own refusal to learn how to grow my own vegetables.
Oh, you don't farm? You don't garden?
I want to be that person, and I feel like our food is so toxic and full of chemicals and stuff that like the solution is right there.
Is it?
You know, but that's the thing is it, you know, because like some people like they're like, oh, here's my balcony garden and I have all these fucking buckets of potatoes and shit, and like my kids never are hungry and we don't eat pesticides, and I'm like, why can't I be that way? Like I can't even keep a basil plant alive outside. Like as soon as I put something on my balcony, I forget that it's there. Like I don't take care of plants out there. Like I don't know. I wish I was better about that though, because I feel like we cook at home a lot and I don't know.
Oh, here's the thing. I am where cacti come to die.
That's a bad move because cactus are hard to kill.
Not in this home. I got the black touch. I'm gonna turn that cactus upside down.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But yeah. No, I get it. You gotta get into it, Cass. You gotta grow your own food.
I know. I'll get there.
Yeah. Well, one day. Anyway, where can the people find you? Not growing your own food, not living off the land.
Stuck at the Phoenix airport in the American Airlines terminal because nobody gets comedy anymore.
Whoop. What happened?
I farted on a plane.
Oh, yeah.
Where can the people find you? And no offense, but more importantly, where can they find this podcast?
You can find me at Iconic Erika Curry on all the socials where I want to be found. I am at Iconic Erika on Poshmark, where I'm an ambassador and have some really great wear. So come find me there. But that's where I want to be. I'm going to be doing some stuff about town, but we'll get there in another time. If you would like to wear a sweatshirt, support a coffee mug, have a sticker, make a notebook, a yoga mat, a baby onesie with some trashy phrases on it to support this podcast, go to trashypodcast.threadless.com to shop our merch store. Patreon subscribers get an exclusive discount. If you would like ad-free episodes of this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/trashypodcast. That is patreon.com/trashypodcast. I'm talking to you, Garrett. And you can find us at trashypod on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, Spill, all the socials. Come on over to our socials. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. We're gonna be checking it more in the future. We do appreciate all the follows. Sharing this podcast is the fastest way for us to grow. So in your app, click, share an episode with a friend. Give us 5 stars in any of the podcast viewing platforms. It helps the podcast grow, helps more people find the podcast, helps the quality of the podcast improve. Use code TRASHY for all discounts. Again, for ad-free episodes and longer episodes, go to patreon.com/trashypodcast, where tiers start at just $1.99 a month. So that's where they can find us. I love it. Send us a story about why you're trashy at trashypodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, that's where we'd love to hear you. We appreciate your support. Listening to the podcast does so much. We really appreciate it, baby trash cans. Hey, Cass.
What's going on, girl?
Hey, garbage.
You stay garbage, girl.
I will. Bye-bye.
Bye.